What's a luxury beauty belief you're most sure will look ridiculous in 10 years?
I think anything that the Kardashians are doing with like fillers or injections is going to look ridiculous. Ingredients matter more now than luxurious packaging or a beautiful fragrance. I mean, those things are still seductive, but not to everybody.
This is Skin Talks, the podcast where we go deeper than skin, products, and trends and explore the conversations that actually matter in health, beauty, wellness, and confidence.
We're a mother-daughter duo and the founders of Boutique Skin Envie. After years inside the industry, we've learned that health is never just about what you use. It's about everything you digest, how you think, how you live, what you eat, how you move, what you put on your skin, and how you feel in your own body.
If you're looking for insight, honesty, and a fresh perspective on the future of health, beauty, and wellness, you're in the right place.
Let's get into it.
Skin Talks podcast by Boutique Skin Envie, hosted by Beate and Natascha.
Most people in beauty study products. Today's guest studies women who buy them. For 15 years, Malinda Sanna has quietly listened to affluent women talk about how they choose, spend on, and feel about beauty and luxury. And she has the receipts. She's the founder of Look and built 2 private communities of high net worth women, the Beautyverse and Luxuryverse. To run studies, the big panels can't. More than 900 studies, over 30,000 women, and clients like Shiseido, Estée Lauder, LVMH, and Tiffany. She doesn't formulate products or treat skin. She studies the buyer, who gives her the rare window into status, identity, confidence, aging, and what really drives the decision to spend. And today, she's translating it for the rest of us. Why ingredients now outweigh logos, where the money is actually worth it, and where luxury is headed next. Malinda, welcome to Skin Talks.
You build your communities one relationship at a time, and it started with walking up to women at the bar at Barney's. How did that turn into a 15-year career listening to luxury buyers?
Well, that's a great first question. So at Look, we do market research, and we do have a niche in luxury. And what makes us different, I guess, is we're the only ones crazy enough to specialize in bringing in luxury buyers to be a part of the world of market research. So the nut that we've kind of cracked is identifying women who buy at a luxury level, meaning pretty serious luxury, like luxury ready-to-wear brands like Dior and Chanel. And you can't buy those names. You can't call up a focus group facility and, ask them to recruit for you. So we had to do it ourselves. And I started the business about 15 years ago. And my partner in crime was a mom who lived down the street. And she heard me kind of kvetching about how difficult it was to find young women we needed for a Marc Jacobs study. And she's like, well, I could probably get my husband's colleagues' daughters, to come in. And that's literally how it started. So I had this amazing woman, Susan Fair, at the time, who was really good at being resourceful and creative and working her network, but we needed to build that even further. So we would go, we live in the New York area, so we would go to Barney's back in the day or Bergdorf, and we'd go to the shoe floor. We'd go sit at the bar at Fred's, if you know, the old Barney's in New York City. Yeah. And she was really good. She's a native New Yorker. I'm not. I'm a Midwesterner. But I will talk to anybody, and she would sort of bird dog me and say, go talk to her. She's about to get on the elevator. I saw her Cartier watch. Go talk to her. And that's how it kind of started. We had a project, I think it was for Chanel watches. And Chanel watches are beautiful, but not everybody owns one. Not even everybody doesn't even know they have them. They're actually gorgeous. But that was our most difficult recruit ever. And it was our first one where we used the Barney strategy.
So basically, if I understand correctly, like a lot of brands will study the market of their competition, their product versus other product. And what you're doing is really studying the people who buy it. Mm-hmm. Am I understanding that correctly?
That's really what
Which
market
is really
research is. But, a lot of luxury companies before
do
we came
it.
onto the scene, they don't do it because they don't think they can. Or
Okay.
they don't know how to do it, or they don't, sometimes they also, especially the French houses, have a little bit of a precious attitude about
Precious
we don't do
attitude.
marketing.
I like that term.
So when we're a small firm, we're really like off the radar. But when luxury brands find out about us, they're like, what? What do you have? What do you mean you can get, women who buy haute couture or,
Yeah.
collect McLarens or whatever.
So when I was reading up about you and your company and your philosophy in business, I read up that you banned the word consumer and started to call women you study your jewels. Can you explain that? Like what made you do that? Because I think it's really cool.
Yeah. I can't remember what made me think of it, but, I have a small team of people that are responsible with me to what we call moderate the conversations on our platform. We have a proprietary piece of software that's really just a chat platform because we didn't like anybody else's, so we built our own. And in these conversations, it just... as we learned what worked, it was really important to show a lot of respect and admiration for the women that we were having conversations with, because everything is one-on-one on our platform. We don't, there's no group dynamic unless we're doing a specific group chat. So we call it sort of a virtual confessional, and there's a little bit of an intimacy and asynchronous chatting, which if you've been a part of, texting with a friend, you know what that's like. And so we're talking with strangers. They've never met us. We don't even, we might say this is our name, but we don't show our photos. And there's something in the anonymity of the way we talk to women that just really allows them to
feel free,
open up to us.
Yeah.
And yeah, exactly. And so it creates this very personal intimacy. And what really is important for us is getting visuals from them. We can also share visuals with them. It's as easy as sort of uploading a photo or a piece of video. But because we do a lot of beauty and fashion and jewelry, it's important for us to kind of see like what's in your makeup cabinet, what brands of soap do you put in your powder room versus your bathroom, that kind of thing. So we really can get very granular and see what women are really buying and really using, because sometimes there's a difference. Like they'll have 5 kinds of blush, but which one are you using?
Yeah. So I would imagine doing this type of conversational building relationship with your jewels is very different than when you go onto panels, which is oftentimes the more traditional approach to, we're going to panel this out to see. You must get much more real, honest insight to things.
Yeah. There's a world of difference, especially now that we're into the AI revolution and, bots are creeping into everything. So the fact we're an invite-only platform and we only accept people through personal referrals. So, and then when we do invite them, there's a vetting process. So they have to send us qualifying pictures. They have to fill out a screening questionnaire. Once you're in our network, you're in it, and we may contact you for multiple studies. But it's extremely white glove, and that just doesn't exist anywhere else.
No, it doesn't. And so I'm curious, you've done all of these studies, like something like 900 studies. You've worked with 30,000 women. So what do you think the biggest thing that brands still get wrong about what do you think the brands still get wrong about the consumers? Because you have so much insight.
Yeah. You mean beauty brands in particular?
Or beauty or just luxury brands in general.
Yeah.
In general, what do you think brands don't understand about their consumers? Because you've done all of these by invite only studies. And I mean, 30,000 women buying luxury is a big group of women. So what do you think that brands don't understand about that? Or they're still getting wrong?
Yeah. Well, that's a great question. I think the big companies, and we do tend to serve, some of the larger companies, I think they may not be aware always of how quickly things shift due to the accelerated pace of everything with social media and trends, and innovation is so important, and creating new news is so important. And, the smaller, more innovative brands, like if you think about Rhode, like Hailey Bieber's concept, I mean, it came out of nowhere and it really took these big players by storm. And I think that is something that a lot of luxury beauty companies, they may understand it, but they may not exactly know what to do about it, because larger organizations are, they're just not as good as innovation. It's why they scoop up the smaller brands, but then those smaller brands often fail because they don't know how to keep the innovation pipeline going, or they lose the founder energy,
Yeah, you're so right about that. I'm just thinking about it because it's like they're not agile anymore. They're not agile. They don't know how to make something different without losing what they have, right? So the pivot is very challenging for more bigger organizations that are stuck in their history and roots. And so with that,
and their processes, they have these processes
oh my God,
that are just
so long.
too long.
We deal with some of them,
and it doesn't,
shocking.
It doesn't work anymore.
No, you have to be agile in business. I feel without losing your branding, like you can still maintain the brand. But we talk about that a lot because we also have a company, Boutique Skin Envie, and we talk about, strategy and all of these conversations. But I find it so interesting that you have such a insight from a jewel / consumer perspective that other people, that they don't necessarily do because they don't take the time to do it, or they don't know how, like you said, right? I find that very interesting. So you say ingredients now matter more than brand names to luxury beauty buyers. How did that change?
I think it started before COVID. I mean, women were becoming increasingly interested in skincare ingredients way before COVID, but COVID, accelerated a lot of things. And that's one of the things that really accelerated. Suddenly, a lot of social media platforms took off, like TikTok, and there was just a lot of involvement in skincare. So skincare is a category. I mean, you guys know, you work in it. I mean, it just soared. It was like a rocket ship.
It blew up during the pandemic.
It blew up. And so a lot of that was through tutorials on YouTube, and people just, influencers educating women, and women just really had a thirst for that knowledge. And so now, I mean, it's just amazing how knowledgeable luxury skincare buyers are about all of that, and about cosmetic procedures as well, and peptides now. And so there, it's a much more, and remains a much more active category even than makeup, because of what matters to women now, which is to look healthy and to look their best and to look as young and vital as they can be. So it's not about achieving a look, it's about achieving skin that they feel great in. And ingredients matter more now than luxurious packaging or a beautiful fragrance. I mean, those things are still seductive, but not to everybody, And then the influx of Korean products was another game changer. And, it's almost like the weirder, the better. Salmon sperm and
salmon DNA.
Know.
Yeah,
I mean,
all the different things now we do. We've been talking about that a lot lately. So how do you think that the high spending woman decide? Like, how does she decide to buy today versus prior? Like, what does that look like? How's it changed?
This is so interesting. I mean, so during COVID, social media drove a lot of that, and there's still a huge TikTok influence. But what we're seeing now is that peer-to-peer, like word of mouth, is now surpassing the influence of social media. So because there's a lot of social media fatigue and just suspicion, people are looking at influencers with a new level of scrutiny, and they're searching for authenticity. They're searching for something that's real. And so they are trusting what other women like them are buying.
Okay.
So that could be friends, that could be family, that could be mother to daughter. We hear a lot of that, actually. It could be group texts. It could be maybe on beauty forums. But honestly, it's becoming very tribal, like getting down to peer groups.
Okay.
That's how people are hearing about new products and what to trust.
So
what
it's less about the logos now. It's less about the name.
But it's
more
also
about
more reliable. Like when you tell me something versus somebody else, like I'm going to trust that reliable source.
Yeah.
Rather than somebody who's you don't really know. You know, and I think, like you said, like there's this social media TikTok fatigue. Like it's at one point, it's like, okay, it's redundant, you know? So if you're a close friend or somebody you know whose skin looks amazing or whatever it is, it's a much more reliable source.
Yeah. What do you do?
Totally.
Tell me what you're doing.
Yeah, it could be a stranger. It could be an esthetician. It could be a dermatologist. It could be like someone that is sitting next to you at the bar. You know?
Yeah, exactly. And that I find is a shift. Like in a lot of things that I'm reading about right now is that the whole niche market is really exploding. Like clinical products, that with a lot of the products that we sell are what you find in spas and medi spas and derms offices and stuff like that.
Yeah,
not all, but a lot. Probably like 80 or 85%. K beauty's huge. We're hearing a lot about that. So the legacy luxury brands. Do you think that they're struggling? Yeah,
they are.
Yeah,
interesting.
It's hard to find one that isn't. I mean. Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you think? Yeah, no, it's just interesting, except I hear a lot about Victoria Beckham with her makeup and stuff like that.
I think that her makeup brand, if I'm not mistaken, it might be different now, but it's like carrying her entire brand that goes into clothing as well.
I've heard that too.
I've heard that.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's true or not.
Yeah, they're a client, so we know a lot about them. I mean, she has partnered with Bader, you know.
Yeah. You mean Augustinus Bader?
Yeah.
Which is a professional niche brand also. You know, it comes from the spa
Victoria's
industry.
Very smart. Yeah. I mean, she knows what she's doing. And she cares. So. She's very, very, very personally involved, you know, and cares a lot about the quality. And so, what she's doing is really interesting, like with the illuminating drops, mixing, you know, the Bader skincare in with a foundation. Women love that. It's a way to sort of try two new brands at once. I mean, there's still a very small player, but that's a great example of a small brand that has a lot of momentum right now, just because of the quality, and you know, they're not found everywhere.
And also
you can't buy them at Sephora.
No,
you know,
and the packaging of it is very luxe.
Yeah.
It's like another.
Well, a girlfriend of mine, Alexis, Robbie, bought it. Remember, we were sitting at
this packaging is
we were looking
expensive.
At it together. It's pricier for sure. It's pricier.
She's not cutting corners.
No, she's not. And but the products they're really good from what I understand. Yeah. So
they're really respected. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm hearing more and more and more about it. So what do you find that these kind of niche K-beauty clinical skincare companies are offering women that old luxury houses aren't, or like the traditional luxury houses aren't?
I think it gets back to innovation. You know, women are looking they know that the skincare technology is advancing so quickly, you know, and that goes for skincare as well as cosmetic procedures, and, you know, so they're looking for clinical grade, often effects, ingredients, techniques, expertise. And again, not everyone, you know, there's still a lot of people buying Dior skincare and, you know, Shiseido and et cetera. But the really leading edge, I would say, is experimenting a lot with Korean products. And as you guys know, it's a very fragmented market. So brand doesn't matter. Like, you know, they're looking for ingredients, they're looking for recommendations. Packaging doesn't matter. It's almost like the cheaper and more clinical the package looks, the more credibility or authenticity sometimes women find it has. So, I mean, women are traveling to Korea for procedures. They're, if they're going to Korea on vacation, they are loading up on all the masks and the skincare and coming back with like oodles of new products.
Same.
Yeah. Well, initially when I heard about it, because I didn't know about any real clinical K-beauty brands that are set in spas in North America, I haven't seen it. I've been in the industry for 30 years, but I feel like it's coming. it's coming because they are very advanced in their technologies, and I just feel like there's a shift and it's coming, and it'll be interesting to see what happens over the next.
Like how we're going to adapt?
Well, yeah. You know, like we have brands like SkinCeuticals, Zeo Skin Health, Vivier. They're all clinical niche brands that are available with dermatologists and doctors. You need medical direction.
Yeah.
And yes, they're very, very effective if used properly and recommended properly and in a routine. Like if you struggle with acne or hyperpigmentation, I've never seen any luxury retail brand that has been able to do that. And so far, I haven't seen it in K-beauty brands specific to treatments. But it doesn't mean it's not there. You know, it doesn't mean that we're not going to discover. It's, you know, Health Canada, and I don't know about so much the FDA, but Health Canada is very, very strict. So in order for a brand to be able to make it over the border into Canada, there's all kinds of regulations and safety. Like there's a lot of ingredients in Canada that are allowed in the United States, but they're not allowed in Canada. So it'll be interesting to see how that shifts. But I mean, I think there's a huge wave of something coming in. Like I anticipate that.
Are you seeing it?
Could be. I mean, I think it's very curious that East Asian brands don't have more success in the luxury space. And that's across categories. I mean, I was in Japan a few months ago, and, you know, that is a culture that prizes craftsmanship so much. And they perfect everything that they do. So I don't understand why they don't have luxury brands. I mean, you could argue Lexus is a luxury brand, but it's not up there with any of the European automotive brands. No. And Shiseido, you could argue that it's a luxury brand, but not really.
Not really.
You know, so and China, you know, there's a lot of interesting technology happening in China in biotech that's now coming out in facial masks and, you know, skincare that caters to the Chinese and East Asian consumer. That is phenomenal. But they don't do luxury. They just don't. It's Europe is the seat of luxury.
Yes.
They know how to tell a story. They know how to
make it
create beautiful packaging. And for whatever reason, that expertise is not coming from East Asia yet. Like you said.
I mean, I think there's a huge opportunity, though. I think we're going to be surprised over the next 10 years what's going to change in that industry, because people ultimately want results, right? I mean,
they want results,
you know,
and credibility.
Yeah. And when you think about it from in a non-judgmental way, but if you look at brands in North America that are luxury brands, they put an enormous amount of money behind marketing to create the story, to create the sensorial experience, the textures, the smells, the packaging, the marketing, who buys it, all of that.
Yeah.
Whereas professional niche brands, they don't have that kind of money because they're only marketing to 2 to 3% of the population, really. They put all of their money into ingredients, research and development, studies, clinicals, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So everybody knows about these brands because they're mass, and not a lot of people know about the niche brands. But the niche brands, because they're moving up, because people are like, wow, I have acne and I can't fix it with this brand, or this brand, but my esthetician recommended this, and this. And it cleared. And a proper retinol and all the stuff that is much more effective. It's becoming more
accessible.
And I think it goes back to what we talked about earlier, is that word of mouth is very important today. So when one person has
everything,
right? So that's good for our market.
People aren't gatekeeping the same way anymore.
Yeah.
Even when I was younger and had all these professional like niche brands, like I always wanted to share with my friends, but I couldn't because it was only like at the spa, which is
few and far between.
When I was 15, which is 15 years ago, it was unattainable. I think it
was hard to find a spa that carried it.
Now it's so much more accessible for the average person, right?
Yeah. Well, we know more about it today.
Which is great.
Let's talk about sunscreen, because the best SPF is the one you'll actually wear every day. Most sunscreen is greasy, chalky, or peels underneath makeup, and that's why people skip it. Color Science's Sunforgettable Flex SPF 50 is different. It's mineral, tinted, blendable, and it feels like skincare. It protects like an SPF, but looks like a lightweight foundation. Truly the best of both worlds. This is the sunscreen we recommend to people who say, I hate sunscreen. Once you try this, you'll never skip SPF again. Use code SKINTALKS15 at bskinenvie.ca. That's BSKINENVIE.ca for 15% off your first order.
I wanted to ask quickly, your core of women that you have, what's the age range? Like, do you have from Gen Zs all the way till boomers? Like what's your...
You study everyone? All the generations?
Yeah,
so
we do. I mean... Yeah, go ahead.
No. So you have them all, which is interesting. Like even Gen Zs.
We do.
Because they're a completely different market.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, and honestly, I would love to do more research with like younger than 18 because that is a cohort that is...
It's interesting.
Unbelievably educated. But just for privacy concerns on our software, it's not, that easy for us to conduct research with under 18s. But we have a lot of 18 to 24. I mean, so we'll regularly sort of recruit specifically like a certain number of Gen Z, a certain number of millennials, and a certain number of Xers and boomers. We tend to put those together. It's very interesting to see what sort of trends are stronger among younger women. And I would say all of the trends that we've talked about, I would say are stronger among younger women than they are older women. So it's, it's much more common to find, a La Mer user in her 50s, for example, or 60s. And that woman may or may not know about Korean products. A lot of them do and are mixing it in. Yeah. But I would say it's harder to get younger women to buy into the traditional luxury skincare brands today.
Which I think also would be the same that you see probably the younger Gen Zs and millennials using Rhode, whereas like maybe you're not seeing the Xers and the boomers using Rhode.
100%.
Right? Because it's that's where those brands are targeting to those different demographics.
Well, they target that demographic, but when you're a Gen X or a baby boomer, your concerns around your skin are very different than a Gen Z or...
Yeah, but it's like talking about like the trends of these brands of how they like carry and like go through all these... it's pretty intense. Yeah. Do you see... Like, how do you see Gen Zs and millennials when it comes to like luxury? Like, is it as heavy as, let's say,
what people say kind of thing?
What people say it is? Like, I'm hearing a lot about quiet luxury. Like, I'm hearing all about that. What's your opinion on that? Like, what do you see within your studies?
So luxury is really going through some major changes right now. I think, quiet luxury was a thing for sure, for a few years. Now, we're starting to see a little bit of a move away from that, more of an embracing of color again and, maximalism and just fun and joy, I think, across a lot of categories. That's one trend. I wouldn't say it's an overwhelming trend. I think more importantly, there's a little bit of a, I don't want to say like anti-affluence, but just anti-overconsumption trend that I think is more important.
Yes.
So people are making much more considered choices when it comes to how they're spending their money. And some of that is just uncertainty in the world, uncertainty in the economy, et cetera. A lot of things are at play. But I think just as we talked a little bit ago about the explosion of skincare, during COVID, there's just a settling down, I think, of spending in the category right now. So it's not easy for anyone, even the smaller brands, because there's so much saturation. Yeah. There's not just in skincare, but there certainly is in skincare. But across luxury categories, I think people are like, I bought 10 handbags during COVID. I'm good, So the pendulum swings back and forth. And I think, I wouldn't say it's the end of traditional luxury brands by any means, but we are in a phase right now where it's harder. It's sort of Darwinian. The strongest players are still doing great. Like Chanel has completely bounced back. They've got a new creative director. They're on fire.
I mean, Hermes,
Dior,
Birkins.
not so much.
Which one not so
like
much? What did you say?
Dior.
Dior, not so much.
Dior, not so much. And even Hermes is getting poor headlines because of how difficult they made it to get some of their handbags. Like there's just a game, to getting
you have to be
a
on
Birkin
like a list.
or a Kelly.
You have to be like called out. Like you can't just go to a store and say, I want a Birkin. Like they call you. right?
Yeah. You
But I
have
see
to
a lot
buy
of young,
thousands of dollars of merchandise in what's called Birkin bait. So jewelry, makeup, scarves, before you are even considered to be offered a Birkin
To get the call.
or Kelly.
get the call. Yeah, no, like it is.
It's interesting, but that's their strategy. Like that's their strategy. The question is, does that strategy have staying power as we move into the future?
Right.
You know,
It has had staying power for a long time, but they are not making their goals now. So
I
if
also
you want
think,
a Birkin, now's the time.
okay, interesting.
oh, well, I shouldn't have known that. I also think that I see a lot of like younger creators having now like Kellys and Birkins. And I think that's because they're buying secondhand, which is a huge market. Which is probably taking away from buying directly from the brand because it's so hard. So they just go secondhand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
which
but
is also
that's,
like, I'm like, how are these young girls affording like this bag? And I'm like, oh yeah, like guaranteed it's secondhand, even though they're like, in their perfect condition, you know, it's just
previously loved or something they call it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's great though, because it goes along with what we need to do in our society, which is like diminish overconsumption and recycle more. You know what I mean? Like it plays into what the younger generations are looking towards, I think.
Yeah. No, I'm like,
Thank
all
God.
I'm thinking about is I have to buy a Birkin now.
No,
it
yeah.
It's a live rent free in my head. Oh God.
Sorry.
It's a good time. Okay. Interesting. I think it's just so interesting.
Yeah, the pre-loved market is huge.
That's it.
Yeah, you hear it like my Teresa, the real
They're
deal,
opening
like,
up everywhere, even like antique stores. And, you know, where I live, they have in Nova, it's called, and it's the Veteran Nurses Organization. So they'll just take in, you know, chairs, tables, glassware, everything from everywhere and sell it very cheap to support the organization. But they're busier than ever now because people are looking for that. And you can find some amazing things in these little boutiques and stuff. I love it.
Yeah. I want to jump into like your line of work and how you're working, and like, how does AI play a role in your day-to-day? Is it like a good thing that you're seeing? Is it something that you're not loving? Like, what's your opinion on that?
Both. So you should have seen me yesterday. I was like literally like banging my head against the wall because this is something that doesn't happen to us a lot, but once in a while it does. People will use a large language model to craft their answers to us. And we can tell like
immediately,
so fast.
Yeah.
Immediately. It's so obvious. But then you have to have the back and forth of like, we can tell you used an AI. No, I didn't use it. And so that's a little annoying, but it's very rare because of the vetting process that we do. And you have to agree if you're going to do a study with us that you won't use AI. But, you know, a little bit of it creeps in. So that's the bad side. I find it really dehumanizing that people would even think to do that. And we typically eliminate people from our database that even try it because we want real language. I don't care if you make typos when you're answering us. Things don't need to be polished and perfect. Yeah, we want reality. Yeah. So on the positive side, you know, analysis is a big part of what we do. 100%. We collect answers and we collect pictures and, you know, the LLMs can use we can upload like a whole file of like hundreds and hundreds of pictures, and it can tell, you know, what those products are and put it into a table nicely for us.
It's amazing.
And we have to double check it against other LLMs, you know, for accuracy. But that is, I mean, that's just opening up a whole new ability for us to be able to keep our finger on the pulse and see what women are really using right now. We do some of our own studies also that aren't commissioned by clients. And we have what I call cultivated communities. One of them is called the Luxuryverse. One of them is called the Beautyverse. And these are like kind of our cream of the cream jewels that, you know, we will just put a quick flash study out to them and say, what are you using right now? What are you about to buy? What's in your cart at Sephora, et cetera. And so using AI for that type of analysis, I mean, we literally used to manually pinch and zoom and say, what is this? And try to track it down. So that, I mean, that's a fantastic, I mean, overall, I think it's magical and amazing, and it's excellent for a business like ours. And it has its risks in the data that we're collecting from human beings. Yeah. Has to be 100% human.
I find for AI and that kind of I use it similarly. Like I'll collect information, read it, have my own opinion, let's say, or take on it. But if I slap the same thing into AI, it just eliminates so many hours and hours and hours.
You optimize.
Yeah. Like I'll just give you an example. What I used it for recently, I know this is a side thing, but we were hiring for a front desk position at our Medi-Spa. And I think we got something like 50 resumes. So I took the job description, I took all 50 resumes, I dumped it into Claude, and I said, pick me the top 8 candidates. So I didn't have to read 50 resumes. So for that type of stuff, it's just brilliant. But you still need, for me, the human, like you need to use your intuition and, you know, your experience in life to be able to validate it. But it is super helpful. So I can imagine with what you're doing, it must be amazing.
It's a tool and it has a use, but you know, we're not going to start writing reports just using AI because it just it lacks soul. You know, like its output, it's fine for sort of quantitative based things, but for a report that is full of insights, which is what we sort of pride ourselves on, not just findings. You know, you need to be able to bring a human perspective and bring 100%. That lateral thinking, which LLMs can't do right now. Not yet.
Yeah.
No. And I think moving forward as AI kind of does take over, having that, like people crave that human.
They do.
Like it's going to come like anywhere and no matter what industry you're in, like when you notice that something's like more human, people are going to gravitate towards it.
Tasha, bingo. That is exactly right.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you, it's kind of maybe in the same realm, but what do you find authenticity looks like to luxury buyers or just buyers in general today? Because we often hear that, you know, the authenticity factor is so important. What do you think that looks like?
I think it's specialization, you know, so it puts, again, the huge companies at a disadvantage because they have so much pressure to put out new, grow your revenue, please your stockholders, you know, all the time. Whereas a small brand, like even us, even what we do, like we're going to stay niche because we do one thing, we do it really well. And I don't want to grow, you know, I really like the business that we have and so I think whether you're a skincare brand or a handbag brand or a jewelry designer, you know, what's really meaningful to women now is a compelling founder story and just the evidence and experience that there is kind of love and quality built into what you're buying.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it does. It totally resonates with me, but I talk about that all the time in our business about, you know, we talk about that a lot, who we are and what we want people to feel when they interact with us
your
as
commitment.
And as an e-commerce brand, it's very transactional, right? We're e-commerce for most of what we do. And how do you get a consumer who's going on our app or on a website buying from us feel that we actually care? It's not so easy, right? But that's the part that we talk about all the time is we want, and with every aspect of our business is we want people to care. And that's why we do this podcast also is because we want to bring information to people so that they can make good choices because we care about that. You know, so it all feeds into that.
And that comes across. I'm sure that comes across to your customers.
Yeah.
You know, it can't not. And even a big brand, you know, like we were talking about Rhode earlier. I mean, when Hailey Bieber started out with that line, she was an e-commerce brand. I mean, she still is to some degree, although, you know, since, who was it that bought her? Elf, I think.
Elf.
Yeah. Yeah, Elf bought her and now it's sold at Sephora. So, you know, I don't know if it really has the magic and allure that it once did, but she brought that humanity to it through her social presence.
Yeah.
And, you know, so just putting a face on it, whether it's through a video podcast like you guys do or social media or, you know, finding the right places to get into those group chats and word of mouth.
And she has an incredible following. We do sometimes, you know, by strategy, we do on TikTok or Instagram, we're, you know, talking about the glazing milk from Hailey Bieber Rhode. And it gets the most views all the time. And if we don't say the right thing, people come at
Her
us.
fan base is
like they come
crazy.
in at us at like with
Very
their
loyal.
claws out because they're like they just love her, right? So it's good for her.
Hailey Bieber wrote is very clickbait. Like anyone, like it's just gonna do well once you mention those three things. Like Hailey Bieber, it's just you're gonna get attraction, and the fan base is they don't mess around here.
Or they don't like her at all. So it's like nowhere in between. It's nothing in between. It's like this or this, you know? Yeah.
Yeah. She's built a platform. It's sort of like if you have a platform that big, anything you put out on it is going to sell, you know, like it's a distribution channel.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, no, she's great. I want to know, how should an everyday buyer evaluate a product and read a label to stop overpaying? Like, what does that look like for an everyday buyer, for somebody who's listening?
You know, if they're picking up something that's sold in Sephora and looking at ingredients, that's a good first start. I think, you know, you were asking me what constitutes authenticity now. And I think in some cases it's like a short list of ingredients, a small assortment, not a huge assortment. You know, just kind of a sense of discipline and curation within a brand line, I think. But I think recommendations are the best way. I think women are onto something in looking for a personal vetting, or, you know, a sense of like, what are other people discovering right now? Who do I know that has great skin? I'm going to ask them what they're using.
Community and recommendations, referrals. Tribes. I like all of that.
Yeah.
Because we talk about that a lot with women, just generally our tribes. Like we have our tribes of people that are go-to friends.
That's right.
In our group that we trust, you know?
Yeah, those are like gold. And, you know, educating yourself about ingredients is important also, you know, so that you can put it through that filter as well. You don't want to just blindly follow what someone says to buy, but I think the sort of self-education as well as looking to real people for recommendations, those are the two things that really matter.
Yeah, and estheticians, I think they're having their moment now, and it's just going to get more and more, which I love, because I've been doing this for 30 years, and estheticians have not had their moment, but they also haven't taken their moment in a lot of cases. But no, this like getting expert advice and doing something that's customized and personalized for you based on your concerns, goals, but also your budget, and you know, getting the results. Because let's face it, when you're using products on your skin, if your skin is challenged in any way, it's hard on people, right? It's really hard on confidence and stuff like that. So really expertise. And again, it goes into that niche market, which I love.
No, I love the whole movement of it's like just the word. I like that it's like kind of going away from social media a little bit and more of like that.
Well, we're on social media. Sometimes the stuff that we see, it's like, oh my gosh, there's so much coming at you of the latest, greatest,
overwhelming.
And so many things that promise miracles. And that's just not the reality when you get into skincare at all.
No.
Yeah. And then there's the whole, you know, wellness craze, and women are looking to, you know, feel good about what they're putting into their bodies, and, you know, paying attention to that, how that affects their skincare also. And that's interesting because it's a whole different world, you know, like the big beauty companies are not producing supplements per se, but that is where women are looking to really optimize their skin. So that's another opportunity.
Yeah, I like that. It's so good because it makes me think about what we do every day. Like it gives me a lot of ideas, this kind of conversation. It validates things, but opens up new doors that, maybe I hadn't thought of before. So I love this kind of stuff. I love what you're doing. I think it's great, really working with people rather than panels, so let's say, or, relying on AI to be able to feed data in. You're actually talking to people and getting their opinions, which is great.
Yeah, making them feel like they count. I think we refer to them as jewels internally. We don't tell them that they're jewels. It's like an internal word. But, I think the way we talk to them, the way we hang on their every word, or we'll give them compliments that are, genuine. They're showing us like these amazing, like we're discovering things as we talk to women. And it's so that kind of genuine, like, cheering them on, giving them almost like an immersive experience in a way. Like it's so interesting because we are in the research business. We're not in the sales business. We're not selling any of these products. And we're always like, tell us what you really think. But it also is a great platform for storytelling.
Yeah,
So
you must get some very interesting ones.
Yeah. Like, after someone does a study with us on Victoria Beckham, we may hear like years later, well, I used this because, you guys introduced me to it through that Victoria Beckham study. Or, it's interesting because it does kind of have an effect of that credibility, and objectivity that people are looking for.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I think it's so interesting. I would love to know everything.
Yeah.
Like selfishly, I would just like love to know. It'd help me purchase.
Yeah.
For sure.
Well, Tasha, we'll need to get you into our database and have you studies for us.
I'll be very honest. I promise I won't use AI. I'll give you my honest opinion of all the things. Right? I mean, come on. It's so cool.
Yeah, it is fun. It is fun. It's a very interesting model.
Yeah, even just like trend, like somebody who said like trend, like you're setting trends. Like it's just so like trends are so heavy. I find in every industry, and it's like, how do people know what's coming? I find that
it's a lot because there's so much out there, right?
And I just find it very
it's moving so quickly. I mean, it used to be fashion had seasons and trends. Now skincare has trends. You have to track it just like you do the fashion industry because ingredients now come in and out of fashion,
and fast.
We just actually interviewed somebody on our podcast a while ago who studies trends of ingredients and goes to like all these like really big panels and learns about what's coming out and all this stuff before it even hits market. So like she'll know if, let's just say, for example, like the salmon DNA thing, she knew about that last year and she knows if that's going to be a hit or miss. And I find that so interesting. Like you just have this know of like what's going to come and like what people really want. It's really interesting.
Yeah,
it is super. Yeah. So with every episode, we always close with 3 signature questions.
It's like a rapid fire.
So the first things to come to mind. Okay.
So, all right.
Go ahead.
After studying 30,000 women, what's the one thing they almost all secretly want that no brand is selling them?
Under eye solutions. Ooh. We just hear it over and over and over and over because everybody's exhausted. And so
no, like that's true. Like
want to look less tired.
Put sleep in a pill. Put sleep in a pill and everyone's going to be so
sleep in a pill. Sleep in a pill.
Like
there's an idea.
Done that yet?
Yeah, no, people are always unsatisfied with what's out there in the under eye realm, whether it's a cream or a serum or a makeup product. Like there's so much dissatisfaction with under eye versus anything else.
Oh, that's interesting. I like that.
That's very interesting. So in our market, we have a ton of under eye products and tips and tricks. So we should probably talk about that more often. I'm thinking about that.
Yeah.
Because in the brands that we have over 200 brands, probably 80% are skincare. And there's some fabulous things to use underneath the eyes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you need to use the right product depending on your concern is the thing, right? So if you had to spend your own money on one beauty product tomorrow, what would it be and why?
Oh, well, I can tell you what I'm super loyal to, and it's a facial product, but I'm starting to use it all over my body, is snail mucin.
Oh,
have you heard of snail
yes,
mucin?
we have. We just did a podcast episode on it.
It's amazing. And if anyone is not using it yet, spend the $15 on TikTok Shop and get it because literally, it is so inexpensive, so effective.
What does it do?
So plump.
For you?
It's just plumping.
So better than hyaluronic acid?
The two together are amazing. I mean, literally, I put on
hyaluronic acid. Yeah.
And then I put on my snail mucin and then I put on my moisturizer.
Okay. I'm going to find some.
Yeah.
We don't carry it. We're going to do it. Okay.
What's a luxury beauty belief you're most sure will look ridiculous in 10 years?
Oh, I think anything that the Kardashians are doing with like fillers or injections is going to look ridiculous. We're already starting to hear that. Like people are starting to have their fillers removed now, and like the overuse of Botox and baby Botox. And I mean, don't get me wrong, like, and procedures are also exploding. But I think just the blind adherence to whatever comes out of the Kardashian household is going to look really silly in 10 years.
I love it.
Interesting. Yeah. Very interesting exclamation point. What a great way to close. What a great way to close.
This was so interesting.
Yeah. Thank you
this
very much.
This went so fast. I can't believe it's been an hour. It's so fun to talk. You have really good questions.
Thank you.
I can tell you work in the industry. Yeah.
Yeah, we try. We try really hard to create an interesting information so people can learn, you know, and make good choices for themselves. That's the thing for us. So
that's ultimately what it is.
Yeah. And thank you so much for joining us. It was really, really a pleasure to meet you.
I loved it. I really enjoyed it.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to Skin Talks.
If this episode inspired you, taught you something new, or just made you feel seen, please share with someone you love. And if you believe in thoughtful and empowering conversations that help you make better choices for yourself around your beauty and wellness, please rate and review the show. It helps us to grow our community, and we deeply appreciate it. Because this isn't just about skin.
It's about claiming your beauty, feeling strong, informed, and at home in yourself.
See you next week.